So are we ready?
This is Jay.
This is A.
And this is Mocksicated,
where we drop the booze and walk through the reality of life alcohol-free.
So grab your favorite mock, get ready to laugh, and let's get Mocksicated.
Well, hello, Jessica.
Hello, Alexandra.
And welcome back.
What did those ladies say in that thing I sent you?
Oh,
We're Chips and Dip.
yeah. Hello, Chip.
Hello, Dip. Where are we? Seriously reminded me of us so bad.
We're still mastering our hello 3 seasons in.
Oh my God. Okay, well, can't even come out. Hello. This is great. You know, we've had some guests on and I love them a lot.
Yes.
But it's so nice to just cozy up and be
Yes.
with my bestie.
I know. We have. It's like every other episode has been a guest. We have so many cool people that want to share.
Are you guys listening? Which guest was your favorite?
Yeah, tell us.
We're not going to tell you because we love them all equally like our children.
Yeah. That's funny.
How's life?
Good. A couple weeks ago now, I think, was my mom's 60th birthday party.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I sent her a text thanking her for her birth and yours.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Well, it's very significant to our world, her and you.
Yeah. Yes,
They're
because
huge
without her,
people.
I wouldn't be here.
You guys are made an impact.
Yeah.
Shining.
And because my mom is sober too. And so at her birthday party, I set up like a little mocktail section with her favorite drink, which is our Mocksicated Mule, of course. It's
So it's
very
like
good.
a 60th rager.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was definitely a rager. But so on one side of the table had the alcohol, and then the other side of the table had like the mocktail, like little stand. And it was so interesting how people, I would say, we'll just say 50 and above. I don't really know these ages. But
Safe guess.
were so shocked by a mocktail. They were like, what is this? Why would you drink that? Just go grab a soda. And I was like, oh, this is like, and I just had such a nice smile on and was like, well, actually, it's really delicious if you want to try one. And they're like, well, no. And I was like, well, if you want, you can put vodka in it. It's a Moscow Mule with vodka. Have you ever had one of those? And I literally,
like, no.
yeah, and I literally, I was like even promoting drinking at this point. Because I was just like, do you want me to make you one? Like, can you just step away from me with these questions? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that makes sense because in all of the things that we've said, I feel like all of the like percentages, it seems like the elder generation is the one that drinks a lot still.
Yeah, well, and these people aren't as old, but even Coachella with the younger generation at Stagecoach, which I feel like is a little bit of an older generation, they sold more alcohol in one day of Stagecoach than the whole weekend of Coachella.
I saw that. How freaking crazy cool for Coachella people.
Yeah. Stagecoach. Sorry.
Right.
But
there are sober country singers, but there needs to be more.
Yeah.
Just
well, no, and
PSA.
too, like the whole vibe of country is
get
like, let's just get drunk and beer
and on my horse and beer.
Yeah.
I like country music.
Yeah.
I'm just being silly.
But yeah, no, a lot of it is just
beer.
Yeah. But so it's just very
So
eye-opening
interesting.
seeing the different generations and how they feel
Yeah.
about drinking. And I guess I hadn't really been to a 60-year-old rager.
You mean you're not invited to those a lot? I actually
often.
feel like you would be.
I know, because old people are my best friends usually. And Chris, God, I'm like, you're an
Between
old
the two of
person
you.
magnet. Oh my God.
he's a 60-year-old trapped in
Yeah.
a...
Yeah. Yes. But yeah, so it was just a very interesting situation to be put in.
Which is so funny because I saw a statistic a couple weeks ago too that was like the drug and alcohol use amongst teens is the lowest it's ever been.
Dang, that's cool.
The lowest it's ever been. I was like, why are we not celebrating this on my roof?
Yeah. Well, because you live in a 2-story house.
Yeah, and
that's
it's
too high.
tile, and
That's
I'd
too high
probably
for me.
slip off.
I only get on one-story roofs.
We could go get on the wall over there,
Yeah,
and
we'll
we'll just
celebrate from the wall.
hello. Because seriously, that is such a huge thing, and it does show how generationally different this is. It does show like how embedded it is, and maybe that we are walking away from it because, you know, we have cool moms that are like
do.
hip above their time.
Yes.
I mean, they don't need alcohol.
No.
And they're boomers.
Yeah.
Well, my mom is. I don't know if
No,
my mom is
well, so
considered.
even one person, my mom was dancing, and one person was like, "Oh gosh, don't give her anymore," and she was like, "Do you not know me? I don't drink. Naturally this cool," and like kept dancing, and I was like, "Go, mom, go!"
Yes. Love that for Jill.
Oh, yes.
So good. Well, speaking of these sticky situations, we are back for another
Yes.
round.
Of sober situations, part 2.
Dose.
Dose.
I'm just gonna.
I know you're trying to spill that.
No, I don't want to spill that. I have to just come here and say
Oh.
hello to our friends and just make sure things are what they need to be.
I know.
But yes, I was gonna spill this. You know, I told you I spill my coffee every single day. There's no.
Yeah, that's true.
I haven't spilled this one yet.
Fingers crossed.
Sober situation.
Quinn did let me know that if you cross both fingers, that it cancels it out. So you're only supposed to do one.
Ooh.
She was like, "Stop, mom!
teach
Stop
us
doing
stuff all the
both.
time."
You're canceling out
my
that."
gosh.
And I was like, "Oh, dang.
serious.
Yeah, yeah.
I told you about Kyla and her.
Oh yeah, that's.
I literally did it the other day. I can't remember where I was, and I was like, okay,
Snapping.
I'm done. I'm out of that thought. Thank you, Kyla. This morning, when they were asking about me or about you coming over, they were like, "Do you ever talk about your kids on the podcast?" That was Miles, by the way. And I was like, "Yeah, we talk about you guys all the time. Is that okay?" And they both were all.
Oh, happy about it. That is
So, anyways, back to sober situations. I feel like you
Yes.
guys really liked sober situations.
awesome. Yeah, because I think it's very relatable because we're put in these situations, and it's like comical and maddening at the
Yeah.
same time. And it's like, oh, so I'm not the only person that's treated that way.
It's truly an if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Like, truly.
100%.
And I love if you know, you know, because it just feels so exclusive.
yeah, it's like an inside joke.
Yeah.
That only if you know, you know.
And how many people that are sober get it. And it's like this huge, like, nationwide.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. No. And two, I just feel like I always feel better when I'm not alone.
Yeah. Like, oh, thank God, I'm not the only
I'm
one.
like, oh, this isn't just happening to me. Oh my gosh, this is everyone.
That's exactly how I would handle
Yeah.
it. Okay, so starting off the bat, someone still dislikes you because of your drunk behaviors.
I could gasp right now.
Your eyes roll into another dimension.
Yes.
Do you have this? Do you have someone that like you think doesn't like you anymore because of something you did while you were drunk or who you were when you were drunk?
Well, there's still the person that still brings up that I was blacked out when I met them, so I never remember their name. And I don't know if it's just me that is more mad at that behavior.
They're very
but
insecure about not being known. I'm sorry.
They've even said that to one of my friends who she was like, "Well, it's because you're always drunk." And I'm like, "Well, you're the one that's drunk, okay?" But no. Actually, be more rememberable. No, I'm just kidding.
Who's really at fault here?
But no, she still, which actually there was some drama, so she's out of the family circle.
Get her
now.
out of the
Yeah,
circle.
Get her out.
She should have been out.
Yeah, should have been out a long time ago. I've been telling, and I was proud. I never like to do an I told you so, but I was like, hey, told you so 10 years ago.
Did you feel like me a little bit?
Yeah, it felt really good. But no, I feel like if there are still people mad about my drunk behaviors, they realize that it won't faze me now, so they just bottle it down. Like, really, because it's like...
Go talk to your therapist.
Yeah, really, because at this point, I think that sometimes my positivity, like, it just makes people mad. They're like, how can you still be happy? And I'm like, this is just who I am. Sorry. You know, and so I think that might be a part of it too. There are people that still try to remind me of drunk behaviors that I dislike.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's like a backhanded way of like kind
still
of
holding it against
holding,
you.
yeah, just
holding you
reminding
to that.
me of what I did.
Yeah,
once,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and I'm like, oh yeah, that's so funny.
It's so interesting because I feel like for me and you, obviously this is why I love having such different perspectives for the two of us, because like you're still around people that could have these feelings.
Yeah.
And like there's probably 100 people that are still mad at me for things I did when I'm drunk, but I don't know. I have no idea.
That's true. That is a very good point that I didn't think about. Because you don't put yourself in the situations, which I feel like every year as I am growing older, I am slowly coming to your side.
The dark side, you can call it that. You can call it that. The lights go out early over here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
No, truly though. And like, I think and I know because we were in a situation like this in our recent past, when I am forced to be around a bunch of people where I perceive that they might still hold drunk behaviors against me, it starts to internally affect me. I start to get anxiety because I'm not going to talk to anybody about it. The air is never going to get cleared. I'm not going to confront that. There's nothing that's going to be done about that. 2, I don't even know if they're thinking these things.
Yeah.
Who freaking knows? They might be drinking. They might have had a million other crazy people come and go in their lives since me.
I think they did. So you can stop worrying about them.
But it is like an interesting mind game because the majority of the time I don't care because I'm not around it. But then in the certain instances where I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's like a smack in the face. It's like, oh my gosh, I was around that person. I did this bad thing. Do they still think that? It's really only when I'm faced with it. And honestly, I've just had to tell myself, like most things I do these days, I just like calm myself down.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I'm not going to do anything about it. So I need to be okay. I know who I am now.
Yeah.
I've forgiven myself for all that stuff. Those people aren't my friends for a reason.
Yes.
So,
yeah. No, I think that was a great way of putting it.
thanks. And if you still don't like me because of my drunk decisions, cool.
Then why are you listening if you don't like this?
Because I know you are, some of you. We see where it's listened to, by the way. Texas. Nevada.
I have a lot of family in Texas, okay?
Yeah, not in this particular part of town. Okay. Someone assumes you had a problem with drugs also.
Oh, gosh.
Has that happened?
Yes. Well, and 2, they're like, oh, so you're sober now, but do you still do that? And I'm like, still do what? Like, say it. What do you think that I do?
Say it with your chest.
Yeah, literally. Like, I get, like, so offended because I really didn't, like, dabble with drugs that much.
Yeah, you really didn't.
I didn't.
You didn't.
And because I knew I would become addicted, literally. I already knew that my drinking was a little bit questionable. But I was very functional. It wasn't affecting my life in that way to where like I was having DWIs and things like that. Like I was still had a tiny bit of responsibility and was still getting the grades and all of that.
Yeah.
But I was truly very afraid of pills, very afraid of cocaine just because I have seen people become addicted to those.
Yeah.
And with my personality, I was so afraid of being addicted.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't allow myself to even go that way at all. But so it would make me mad because I'd be like, what do you think that I'm doing?
Yeah.
And 2, people question my high energy. They're like, well, how have you done so much? How do you
do so much?
And I'm like, well, maybe that's just my personality.
I'm blessed.
Yeah.
You assholes.
Yeah. But so, yeah, no, it does make me like very like defensive.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready to like try to make them understand when I know
Yeah.
we can't make people understand.
True.
So yeah.
But I also think it's a part of our cause too to like this is another caveat of like having to have a reason to quit. Like, oh, she doesn't drink alcohol because she was also addicted to A, B, and C. Like she had to give it all up to be good. Where it's like, no. I, first of all, never did A, B, and C. I only did alcohol and I gave it up for this reason. You know what I mean? Like it's, and I think that is something that we're so strong about. So for you to get defensive, it's like defending yourself and the cause.
Yes. The whole movement.
Mocksicated.
Yeah.
I did dabble. So people can think what the heck they want because they probably dabbled with me.
Yeah.
I don't think I was ever addicted to anything. I did stop. That's for that reason I hated cocaine because that, honestly, y'all, that's the grossest drug.
I agree.
it just, the way it made me feel like a disgusting disgust. So I just, I backed away from that. I really liked the psychedelics, but it was also just stuff that I was escaping. Like, I needed it as an escape. I was so lucky to never get addicted to any drugs. I'll look at it that way. If somebody thinks that I was still doing drugs, then I just am like, well, you didn't know me. Like, you know, the only people that would assume that of me were doing it with me when I was younger.
Yeah, true.
And so, like, you know, I don't put myself out there in enough, like, open spaces where people would not know me and maybe assume that I had both things. But I just do think it's so interesting how those two always usually go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And, you know, for some people, that is how it went. And for some people, like, you could never, ever do drugs and never even want to do drugs and still have a problem with alcohol and still give up alcohol, and it completely unrelated.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, no. I love that you just said that because it's so true.
Yeah.
So true.
Ugh.
Ugh.
I
know.
And you hated when I did them.
I did.
You hated. You really were like, just please don't. And I was like, Allie, I need to be me.
Just let me do my thing. I don't be like, all right, well, I'm not going to hang out with you tonight. Go have fun with
like,
those weird friends.
I'll drive you and drop you off.
Yeah.
Text me later.
Yeah, literally. Because,
And
and too, I think that that's my own, like, insecurities. Because I was exposed to what those did to people at a younger age. And I think that that's too, like, I still get afraid of drugs because I'm like, oh God, like, like instantly get uncomfortable just because at a younger age, I did see what drugs did to people. I was around them, and it just, I think it's that, which it's honestly, like, thank God, because then now I'm not addicted to drugs because I saw that. It could have gone very different. You know, like, it could have been very different. I could have been right there in it, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
Black.
Ugh. Okay, so someone thinks you need AA to be sober.
You've come across this.
Yes. People, well, and too, my dad is, like, the king of AA in Albuquerque. And so a lot of people are really shocked a lot of the time that I got sober without AA. And when people are shocked by that, I usually just say, you know, you can only get sober for yourself. I could never get sober for my dad because he's the king of AA.
Right.
You know, and
or do it his way.
Yeah. Him and I are so alike in so many ways, but we're very different too in a lot of ways. Yeah. But yeah, no, I definitely think that you can do it on your own, but I think that if you're looking for a community, that AA is a great place. I think I never judge a person for going to AA. I'm like, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you were able to find community there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. You know, that's so funny. And I feel like sometimes there's, like, in the sober community, like, a mini feud between this.
There is.
Yeah. And I've never, like, seen it like that. And I don't have as much exposure to AA, or, like, I guess because I've come into this on my own. It's like, whatever somebody needs to stop drinking alcohol, let's applaud.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a crap if it's, like, if it's AA, if it's a book, if it's, you know, an online community, if it's a feeling, if it's a thought, you know, like, there are so many different ways people give up alcohol. There are so many different ways people stay clean. There are so many different, because we're all freaking different. We've talked about this. Our brains are all completely different.
Yes.
And for some people, the consistency, the community, the rules, the expectations, they thrive under that. And for some people, it makes them miserable.
Yeah, no, and I think you said it perfect.
And I'm just going to go on record here and make a very hard statement that I really used to support someone on Bravo that was sober. Her name is Lala. And I have since kind of pulled back on how much I support her and her stance, specifically because of situations like this. She went to AA to get clean and sober, and it was the only thing that worked for her. But when she talks about it, she says things like, I don't think that people can be sober without AA. I don't think that people can be sober, Cali sober. That's bullshit. None of that counts. The only way you can do it is in a program like this. That's the only way I'll take people seriously. And it really hurt my heart.
Yeah.
It hurt my heart so much because I just don't think as people in this community, we should be shaming any person in any way they're putting down the bottle. Like my whole thing ever since we've started Mocksicated or even before that is like, if it gets someone to stop, it gets someone to stop. Like, why are we going to fight about what gets them to stop? Let's just celebrate it.
Yeah. No, I agree too. And too, a huge thing that we face every day is the judgment.
Yeah.
Like how people that drink think that we're judging them, and people that are sober think that the drinkers are judging us, which a very intelligent woman who will be a guest soon tells me all the time, because I talk to her about it a lot. 'Cause I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm judging. She's like, well, we are judging.
Yeah.
We are judging because we are making a conscious effort to not drink because of our personal judgment of how alcohol affects us.
Yeah.
So you can never be judgment free. But I think too, that is like such a big part of it is like, oh, you went to AA, so you have a real problem.
Whoa.
And those judgments.
It's questioning. I think everyone judges, but you have to question where the judgment comes from.
Yes. That's,
because like, where is Lala's insecurity with people that don't go to AA? Like that is something that has to be, I don't know.
because she couldn't do it without
Yeah.
AA.
And so there is an insecurity there. You know what I mean? And like, with us, when it comes to like, you know, going out and maybe you see someone that's drank a little too much and you're starting to judge them, that comes from a place of like a mile marker of like, okay, that's where, this is why I stopped. I'm remembering alcohol is not good for bodies. That's where the judgment's coming from. And it's like, we're all going to judge, but really recognizing where is that judgment coming from is going to give you the answer faster than anything else.
Yes. Yeah.
And there's a lot of judgment. So
Yeah.
start looking within, babes.
It's truly, every judgment I ever have is my own insecurity
And it's coming
projecting,
from,
you know, and I'm
somewhere.
like, nobody has created that. I've literally created that from my own.
Or someone told you that from the ages of 0 to 7 and it's programmed in your brain.
Yes. Yes.
We've talked about this before, but I still love it. And I actually had a really great experience with this the other day. But anyways, a doctor asks you how much you drink on an intake form.
Tell us about your situation.
I just like it. I've told you guys I've been to psych doctors, and so I feel like even more in the psych doctor world, in those intake forms, they're asking you all this stuff, and you gotta be honest about it. And if you're going to a psych doctor, please be honest about all the stuff you're doing and digesting on the daily, because that's important. But there was a lot about alcohol on this form, and it was like, when was your last alcoholic drink? If you don't drink alcohol, or, you know, all this stuff. And like, I like went to my little app, like looking at the actual days. Actually, it's been this many days. And there's just so much pride that comes from that. It's like, I feel like a little girl, okay? Because sometimes I am still a little girl and I like to ace all of the questions, and I almost get giddy in appointments waiting for the question.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
ask me how much I drink alcohol. None.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that how you feel?
Yes. I actually recently, because I just had like a re-checkup of like all my blood work and stuff. And I was bothered because she was like taking my vitals and like doing my weight and all this stuff. And there was 3 young girls just sitting at a desk staring at me. Oh. And I was like, can you, like, trying to like look away? And I was just like, this feels rude. Like, I don't, like, I have nothing
Intrusive.
to be, yeah. Like, I'm like, I have nothing to hide, but also like,
Eyes.
they were like very pretty, like 21-year-olds in med school.
They're all young and beautiful.
Yeah. Like their makeup done from, and I was just like, that's a little too much on the tip of the nose. You look like Bambi. But, but no. And then she like went down the questions. And then when she asked me my alcohol intake, I literally made eye contact with one of them and I was like, nope, never. Like, And then she like looked away, like all startled. But I was just like, yeah, they're listening to every single thing, like my
so
weight,
listen
my
to
height, my blood pressure, like going all
Guess
the
what?
questions.
I also don't drink alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it was funny how I felt like insecure with these young, like hot girls watching me. And I was just like, oh my God, look away. But they were facing me.
Yeah.
And then truly when I was leaving the appointment, they were like, oh, thank you for our first day. And I was like, yeah, well, you need to tell them to not stare at the person that's being like,
Next one.
Yeah. Next one. Let's not stare and make us uncomfortable.
I saw something the other day that was like people's experiences, our age and above, people's experiences with Gen Z, like nurse practitioners and medical caretakers, and it was so hilarious. It's honestly like so uplifting, but it was the funniest thing to read. Like one experience, some lady had her tubes tied, and it was like a Gen Z nurse practitioner or nurse, and they were asking like if she was gonna have kids or something like that, and or what her birth control was. And she said, my tubes are tied. And the person went, yes, queen, no more kids for you. And then another one was like, I went in for flu-like symptoms to urgent care. And the Gen Z nurse was like, okay, I'm going to write you off for work. How many days you want off? 5, 6, 7? It's like so unserious about everything.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, well, at least we have that to look forward to in our old age of like these funny, unserious
well, no,
children
do you know
taking
what?
care
That's
of
funny.
us.
That just reminded me, because in my head I was like, what did make me uncomfortable in front of them? Because they ask in that, are you sexually active? And I looked at one again and said yes, like made eye contact. Yeah. But
and then my husband.
I know, and then I was like waiting for her to be like, how many partners? But she never asked, because I was like, my husband. Like, I'm not an old slut, but
maybe I am.
But maybe I am. Don't shame me.
About 10. Oh my gosh, getting old actually is fun. I like it a lot.
Yeah, no, it is. Honestly,
you have a lot more fun.
The truest statement ever is older, wiser, hotter.
Hotter. Worse.
But yeah, no, really. And I just
hotter.
think too, like, you really do, through experience, become more wise. Even if you're not in school, in classes at older, taking courses, whatever, to better your career. No, experiences.
It comes from inside.
Yeah, it's like,
the wisdom instead. Okay, this is something that someone told me recently, but I'm going to say it again in my own way. Is like, instead of searching for the wisdom everywhere outside, you start to feel it come from within.
Yeah.
And like, how freaking cool is that? You're not like grabbing for like, give me this, I need the next, get help, I need this. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, it's like you finally start trusting yourself. Yeah. You're like, no, I've been through this before. I know how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, experience. Wiser, older, hotter.
Sexier.
Yeah.
Sex is better, actually.
Yeah.
Anyways, next one.
So someone assumes you still drink.
Does that still happen to you?
Well, yeah. At my mom's party, my aunt, I was drinking a mocktail mule, and she literally was like, how much vodka's in that? And I was like, I haven't drank for 8 years. I have a sober podcast. And she was like, oh, good for you. Did you put alcohol in grandma's? I was like, no, that's the same drink as mine. She was like, I was worried seeing her have it. Yeah, because I made my grandma a mocktail too. But I'm like, no, like, what is wrong here?
No, she doesn't have alcohol and neither do I, okay?
Yeah, okay. That's why we are so classy. But I think most people in my circle know that I don't drink.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I was trying to think of when we kind of had, like, a mini reunion, if those people knew we had sober. Did people assume that we... Well, no, because they did. I did have coffee.
What are you talking about?
Well, I can't really say right now.
I know.
We saw a bunch of people from high school.
Recently.
Yes, recently.
Yes, sorry. Yes.
And, yeah, maybe... I don't know if I was really, like... I'm sober, but I was obviously drinking coffee and not at the bar.
Yeah.
Well, we actually were in the line of the bar.
I got into the line on purpose. Like, I literally told our friend, I want to go with you in line. And then the whole time I was in line, I was like, oh my God, is everyone thinking that I'm getting a drink?
Yeah.
And then our friend was like, I'm sorry I made you come with us. And I was like, what are you talking about? I came here on my own right.
Yeah.
And I did this to myself.
Do people still, they assume you drink?
Well, if they do, I don't talk to them.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
The only people that would are people that I'm meeting that are newer, that don't know much about me. I did get offered a drink yesterday, but it was almost like the person offered it to me out of like hospitality, and then once I said no, she was like, oh yeah, she like remembered who that I have a podcast or whatever. But assuming makes an ass out of you and me, so don't make an ass out of me, bro. I don't drink anymore.
You just got really northern New Mexico on us, bro.
Sometimes
sounded like
it
my
comes
brother.
out.
I joked that that's where he's from.
Sometimes the norteño comes out. The norteño. Okay, last one. Sister.
Okay, someone tells you they liked you when you were drunk. This does happen to me often. Because I put myself in situations and I go to parties and things. And I think that a lot of the time that these people don't realize what they're saying.
Yeah.
Like one of them is even like a good friend, and she says every time, she's like, I know, I love that you're sober now, but like I do miss like getting drunk with you. Like we had so many fun times together, and I'm like, yeah, I still have a lot of fun. I'm having fun right now. Don't I look like it? Like
this is a fun conversation.
Yeah. But no, and I think that most of the time when that's like thrown at me, it's not from a mean place. I just don't think that they realize. It's not like someone being like, well, I liked you better drunk. I don't think that they're doing that. I think that they're reminiscing on crazy times that we did have. And two, I'm like, honestly, even if I still did drink, I feel like at this older age, I wouldn't be doing as crazy of things that I was doing then, because I just didn't.
I don't know.
For safety reasons, I feel like now I'm a lot more reserved in like, I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. We are going to wear helmets. We're not going to
climb on that roof. Yeah. That ladder is shaky.
Yeah. We are going to wear life vests at the lake, things like that, where I just now, I think as a mom, I have a little bit more safety. And so I think that even if I did drink now, I'd still be crazy. I'd still say things I don't regret. Yeah. But like for the extreme sports side, I would decline a lot of those just because I am more reserved as a mom, I think, maybe. I'd like to think. I'm never going to find out, though, because that's not happening.
Nice?
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Yes. Very
to know if we would still be slapping a bag of wine on a roof.
Oh my God, slapping that space bag.
Space bag.
And then I threw up off that roof. And I drive by that house every day.
I know.
I never realized it was on such a busy corner that night. Did you know that?
No, I had no idea. I thought we were
like tucked away in a neighborhood. And honestly, now when I see, because I live in kind of a dodgier part of town, and so I see people like literally just drinking a bottle on the street or like doing drugs on the street. And I'm like, go into the residential. Like, get a little further in there. Like, we can see you. Yeah, there's a dumpster. Go behind it. But God, we were such smart people. But obviously we weren't, because we didn't know that house we were literally on a corner of a main road, just throwing up on a corner.
Seriously, guys.
Roof house. But so that goes to show that you don't actually know where you are when you're in these situations.
Well, and it's true too, to like, it's such a crazy thing to think about, like who we would have been at this stage in our life drinking, because it's so removed, because we are so much more ourselves now that like that just seems like a distant memory. But like even like touching back on like the drug question, like there are a lot of adults that still dabble with stuff. Oh my gosh, that.
I always get so surprised. I'm like,
I'm always surprised.
You really do drugs still?
I'm like,
always you're
surprised.
Old.
No, I'm like, you.
And they're like, I'm not that old. And I'm like, to be doing these drugs, we are. Your heart. Is your heart going to be okay? Like, I'm always
surprised.
Always surprised.
And always surprised. And I just am like, I would probably, that's where the extreme behaviors might go for towards me. Like, I don't know. Like, it's so crazy to think about this in your head. Honestly, I only had one person that told me this, and not my favorite person, probably the bottom of the list. This person is at the bottom of my list of people that I hate.
I can't wait to ask who it is when we're done with this episode.
You'll know exactly who this is. But this person on one of my sobriety posts commented,
I know exactly who it is already.
I still miss the times of us drinking. And you know what? When you were talking about it, I had a funny thought in my head, because I'm a funny girl.
You are.
Like, how sad. Like, that's what I would say to
Truly.
them. God, I really made your life that much better by drinking. Me drinking alcohol brought this beautiful experience to your life. And you haven't found another one that has made you happy since? Like,
wow, that is...
Standards are low, babe.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm funny and cool, but, like, when I was drunk, that's your favorite?
I love that so much.
I was just thinking about that. Like, why would that be? Like, what experiences have you had? You know what I mean? Because, like, like, look at us. Allie has, like, moments of, like, she was hilarious. She was funny. She was the life of the party. I never was.
There were some fun moments, okay?
The middle. The middle was fun.
Yeah.
But you really have to love Jess to still have fun with her and then like her the next day after that.
I was going to say, like, before, like, 9 p.m. was fun. And then once that took a turn, I did love you a lot.
If I woke up at 11 a.m. and those people still wanted to drink with me again, oh my God.
And do you
really loved me.
That person that said that didn't even like you when you were drinking. They were really mean to you.
That person doesn't like anybody, doesn't like themselves, needs therapy more than anyone. I will drive that person either off a cliff or to therapy, whichever one they decide. I'll put them in my car and say, hey, you get a choice right now. It's your choice. The cliff or therapy, babe. But yeah, like, I'm so much more fun to be around now. I don't let people in probably as easy, and maybe that's the thing. When I was drunk, you got to see Jess a little easier.
Yes.
Or at least a glimpse of her.
Yes.
A little easier. You know, I was in a social setting yesterday and there were just moments in the conversation where people were laughing and engaging and I wasn't. And I was trying not to judge myself because I know who I am now. And I was just trying to be really good in that. And then when I left, I'm like, you know, if these people really want to judge me for, you know, she's quiet, she didn't say much, like she kind of just like sat in the corner or whatever. If that's really what they want to think of me, then that's okay, because it does take a little bit to pry me open. But once you pry me open, like, I am such a great friend. And I am so, thank you. I'm so like available and, well, not always available, but like for you, my love runs so deep and it's really a pure thing. Yeah. So if you don't get that, sorry. Like, if you're going to judge me on these little parts or like say I liked you better that way and not get to know this version of me, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And good. Stay away. I don't need to get jealous of your new friends.
You. She's taken.
Seats taken.
Since 20. Oh my God, do we even say it? No, it was 2000. We can't even say 20. It was 2001.
Dang. Yeah, because I was going to say Y2K was my back surgery, so that was still 6th grade.
We still met each other in 6th grade.
Yeah, we met each other. That's when I bullied her. Bullies.
She didn't like me better drunk. That's all that matters. Yes. She liked me despite me being drunk. Which is true friends.
True friends forever and
ever. And more on that coming soon. Yeah. So, anyways, another round of sober situations. Who knows? We might throw in a part 3. We might not.
Yeah.
Maybe part 3 comes in 2026.
Who knows?
Season 4. Lifers. But yeah, anyways, I hope you guys are having a great summer.
Yes, me too.
And hopefully you don't get into these sober situations. Yeah. And if you do and you want us to talk about it,
Yeah, tell us.
Ring the line.
Ring
1-800-Mocksicated. Is that enough?
I know. I was going to say how many numbers.
I can't do it on air.
On air.
I can't do it online. All right. Anyways, love you, babes.
Talk soon.